Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have another figure review. This is the review of the SHF Kamen Rider G4. Now this is one of those few movie exclusive riders in SHF form that is not p-bandai exclusive as far as I know. Now first of all, I would like to mention this is that the articulation is pretty much identical as G3X as you can see. So if you want to check out the articulation, you can always check out the video on the description below. So I won't be going into articulation too much because, I'm pretty sure some of you might be bored about it. So I will be this will be pretty much a simple review, which for me, for those who aren't aware of my style, is that when I mention if it's a simple review, that means I won't be going on to articulation too much because I have already reviewed another similar product that has the same amount of articulation. Alright, so now let's get on to the review. Now, first of all, I'd like to mention, despite how G3X and G4 they look pretty similar, G4 is not a literal recolor of G3X. It's not like a black version of G3X. There's actually some differences. So, before we go on to comparisons, let's talk about components. So, first of all, what you get, of course, is the rider figure himself, the G4 rider armor. And then we get his gun, the Magnum pistol, which is pretty much identical as G3X's. And then here we have some hands. The hands are very odd here. So you get two fist hands that are currently on the figure, as you can see. And then we get a trigger finger for left and right. That is pretty nice. That's okay for me. And then we get two semi-open hands, which is mostly meant for posing. And then a fully open hand for the right arm. And here's the problem. We do not get any multi-purpose hands. Why this is a problem is that on the back of the box there's this image of G4 holding his missile launcher with a multi-purpose hand, which is not included in the figure, which makes it a big problem. And this thing is already hard to pose with even that hand, so I had to use a trigger finger hand, and it's not really well done. And yeah, the missile kind of pops out a little bit too easily, or at least this one. The rest of the three, they don't pop out that easily. It's just that one that's not like staying in there for some reason. And then here is the connector for the missile launcher to the main belt. Yes, we can finally talk about that hole that was on the side of the belt. Alright, so let's go with the comparison. So pretty much, as you can see they are the same base, and canon-wise, they were kind of developed on the same time as when G3X was being developed. They also went with the G4 concept. However, the G4 concept was scrapped because of the AI issue. Because when G3X was first built, it had this AI function in it, where it helps out the user to fight off its enemies. Problem is, if you're not 100% sync with the AI will take over and do whatever it takes to defeat the enemy. So, which is why it actually gives a big burden to the user. So they scrapped it, but I can't believe it. I can't remember if it was a private military company or some sort of other military group, but some other military group was able to acquire G4's blueprints and schematics and everything, and they made it. They had a couple of users, but everyone died. The way how they died was not from combat, but actually just died from using the G4 armor. As I mentioned, Kamen Rider G3X, G4, the way how this works is that they don't transform into the rider by using a belt. They just have to wear this entire armor on them, like how Iron Man does it. So, considering that the AI is still in here, the problem is the AI actually kills the person. So, well, I wouldn't say if the AI directly kills him. I'm not really sure what exactly kills the user, but problem is, this is how it works. For G3X, it's basically the human wears the armor to function. This one is the opposite. The armor wears the human to function. So basically, the creepy part is that if you're using G4 and then you using combat and then you die while wearing this armor, G4 or the armor itself will move on its own, using just the body as the main skeleton. So that is pretty creepy. Although I'm still not sure what exactly kills the person, but considering that is pretty creepy for me. Alright, so for the comparisons, let's talk about it. So obviously the head is different. Obviously the eyes and colors are different, but the eyes are blue. And then while the V-fin on the G3X had that more skinny end tip there, this one's more, just a straight line. I should also mention that G3X is supposed to be based on Kuga, while the G4 they based it on Agito, which is, I know it's kind of a far-fetched thing, but that's how it is. So the shoulders are also different. The shoulder has become more simple, kind of reminds you of the G3-ish shoulder. The body, I think, is pretty much the same. Well, other than the police, instead of the police symbol, they have the G symbol over there. The belt should be identical. The legs should be identical as far as I know. The other difference is the arm itself. While this side of the arm is pretty much identical, while the other side, oh boy. The other side of the arm, where this G3X had these red dots here, G4 is pretty much identical as his other arm. And instead of having the knife holster, that is not present in G4. And then, yes, on the left side, there's no holster for the shock baton, unlike G3X. So, yeah. I guess, so because of these small factors and stuff, G3X, while being a more police-style-ish rider, G4 seems to be, because of the color and the way the weapon it uses, it has more of a militaristic feeling to it. Backpack, I believe they're pretty much the same, but while G3X, these two things on the backpack are supposed to be the ammo clips or ammo magazine for the Gatling gun, this one is actually different. It has a different design. So I would assume these are more of energy battery packs for the rider armor itself, because yes, the armor does if you've seen Agito the main series, sometimes you would see the armor actually run out of energy, I believe. So yeah. Okay, so we've seen the main differences. Now articulation is pretty much identical. So yeah. Also, other than the small detail, would be the heads. While the heads, each side is kind of different. So you can see this one has some sort of X. This one has more mechanical look. And yeah, once again, the other side as well. I'm going to put away G3X for now. So now let's talk about the equipment. Okay, so once again, this pistol is pretty much identical. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I can't remember if he uses this or not, but I believe in general, they barely use this Magnum pistol at some point. But as I mentioned, you do get a trigger finger. Problem is, like G3X or like any other old SHF figure, it barely fits. I mean, you have the correct hand, but you can see it almost barely fits. I mean, it's like almost a tight fit here going on. So you can see the finger is kind of trying to go into the trigger, but it's not long enough. So you can see it's barely touching the trigger. So which is fine. At least it's not too shaky. Now, here comes the main problem. So I'm gonna swap the hands. So G4 does not come with that Gatling gun, as I mentioned. So on the belt, we had these holes. This was present in G3 and G3X as well. This is made for the cable. So you have this end tip. This is where you connect it. So basically, it's like, yeah, if you want to use like a weapon, you have to make it online with the armor. So, and then we pop this place up, and then we have two more holes for the cable. So that is where you connect it. So in a nutshell, that's how it works. Here is the main problem. Like, unlike Gundams or Robot Danmachi figures, and like how mobile suits have bazookas and they can lie on the shoulder pretty well, this does not have such thing. So it is very, very hard to even pose it with this. I'm just going to take off the cable because it's going to get annoying at some point. So if you've seen the pictures for the intro or the pictures on my Facebook page, it took me like 15 minutes to even get a proper pose just to make this thing hold this missile launcher properly. You can see, yeah, I'm having... Okay, that's kind of annoying. All four missiles just popped out, as you just saw, just by dropping this damn thing. So yeah, in a nutshell, this is how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to like hold it like on the shoulder, and yeah, I'm not gonna even show that. I'm not even gonna try this. So problem number one, the wrist is not too strong enough. Number two, you need that multi-purpose hand, which isn't included the figure for some reason, but it is present in the image of the back of the box. I really hate those kind of aspects where they have it on the box image, but they don't actually give the goddamn product. All right, sorry about being a little bit angry, but yeah, I've never been so frustrated to attach or use a single equipment on a rider figure. I've never, up to this point, I haven't had that much frustration. Maybe the twin breaker, but hey, it still worked out pretty well in the end. This one, it's going to take me a long time to get even used to it. So as I mentioned, there's two handles. There's one over here. This one is mostly for you guys to hold around, which this one actually works pretty well. You know what? I think I'll show you guys that. Oh, great. Wrong hand. So, yeah, this one is supposed... I don't know why, but these missiles are trying to pop out really easily for some reason now. So what you're supposed to do is, yeah, you can actually hold this around like a suitcase, which in the series he actually does. So yeah, now the way how this fires is that now, despite having a trigger finger, there's no trigger on the rocket launcher itself. Now this is where the belt comes in. So you attach the wire to the other side, and then when you want to fire, you twist this knob. Now in the figure that's not present, but in the show they twist this, and then the missile fires. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the review. Now, I'm sorry that I can't show you guys the pose properly, but it's just too difficult, and it's gonna take me like forever to get that on camera. But other than that, the articulation is pretty much identical as G3X. The proportions, yeah, depending on how you look at it, it may look okay, or it may look some awkward. Other than the missile launcher pose, everything is pretty okay for me. So I would definitely recommend it if you're a big fan of the rider himself or the design itself. Thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the SHF Kamen Rider G4. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.